What's going on, folks? Ted from Immersion here, giving you a little bit of an update. Unfortunately, I just haven't really had anybody around to help with filming of anything, so you're basically getting updates as I'm able to film them. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update. Last time we had shown you all of the auxiliary decks were removed, and we still had the main primary deck. Well, now, as you can see, the main primary deck is basically almost entirely gone. The stairs are gone. These planter beds are gone. Most of the existing joists have been cut and removed. We still have a small little section over here so that the dogs can come out the dog door and go out, although they can just jump down. So eventually, I'm just going to build like a temporary ramp coming down there when I tear out all of this stuff. We still have to remove all of the cut-off pieces of the joists over here. These are all attached with joist hangers. So I think what I'm going to do is, you can see the lag bolt right there and along the way, is in an ideal world, get the proper size socket and just undo all of the bolts from this existing ledger board and then just remove this whole unit as one piece. There's also this weird decorative split black painted 1x10 that we have around our whole house for some reason. There's no reason for that, so I'm going to remove that, and then I'll shore up all the holes that exist from the current ledger board, and then I'll replace it with a properly sized ledger, probably a 1x10, proper size, structurally fastened, and do that the whole way down over here till we're able to again cut this gutter, and then actually tear down this whole sub roof piece and reroute that gutter all the way over to catch the gutter on the far side to get rid of that. Just a handful of little things here. Get rid of the remaining decking here, and then I have to, since we're actually extending the deck a little bit further this way, I'll have to drill about 6 more piles out here and then set another beam. So we're going to go a little overboard on the structure, because I think technically these 2x6s may be undersized. So we're going to do 2x10 beam way out there, and we may go from 16 on center to 12 inch on center just to provide us a little more extra stability. And then the current thing that I'm working on designing is how I'm going to fix the roof joists. So obviously the outside end here, where these piles are going to go, it's going to have 6x6 posts. I'll probably put a 6x6 post somewhere here in the middle, and then I have to figure out how I'm going to fix them to the house. Whether I kind of put a post closer to the house and kind of cantilever the roof kind of up close, or if I'm able to fasten with fasteners like joist hangers all the joists to the house. I'm just not sure if that's a thing I can easily do. I don't know what I'm looking at. It's 2 foot on center. The house was built 2 foot on center, so I may need to make like an upper kind of ledger board and attach that to the house. The problem I have is knowing that I've attached it to some form of structure without accidentally drilling into any electric or plumbing that may be up there, because unfortunately laundry and 2 bathrooms are on that side where I would be needing to put all of the joist hangers or this upper ledger. So I might have to do kind of like a floating ledger and then drill a whole bunch more posts closer to the house. So instead of drilling 8 holes, I might have to drill 14 holes. And unfortunately, around here, I think we got to go down 48 inches to get below the frost line, which is going to be a big pain in the ass. So I'll have to either get an auger or a lot of ambition and a post hole digger. So anyway, this is sort of, I guess, Demolition Part 2 update as we kind of go to this. Oh, and because we were talking about it, and I was going to do kind of composite decking, traditional decking, 16-foot spans, and because we're basically turning this more or less into like a 3-season room as opposed to like a true screened-in porch, we're actually going to forego decking, and I'm going to just actually put down pressure-treated plywood as underlayment, and then just do vinyl, like luxury vinyl plank flooring, stuff that's outdoor rated and everything, because this is more of like, again, a 3-season room than it is a porch. So what you're seeing now, or will be seeing shortly, is 5 days after the previous video was filmed. And you'll notice that the main kind of left platform of the deck that was there was removed. Temporary pressure-treated steps are in place. And the big thing that you'll notice is a lot of the kind of hanging pieces of joists and the old ledger boards were removed, but you'll also notice that there are some new, either flashed in aluminum or flashed in some sort of vinyl ledger boards are present, and I'll explain to you shortly why that is. So here you can see the pressure-treated steps. These are just a temporary thing for the dogs or people to get in and out. And it's basically at this point that we're prepping for construction. But you'll notice that there are these new 2x10 beams here that have been flashed, some with aluminum, some with vinyl. But basically, I took off what I had mentioned in the previous video, what I thought was just a purely decorative black painted 1x10. And it turns out, well, in some instances it was decorative, but it was non-pressure treated. And it really served no purpose for a large portion of the house. I thought maybe it was designed to hang on these, you know, whether it was outlet boxes or what have you. But ultimately, because it was not flashed properly and it was not pressure-treated wood, that very quickly started to rot. And as such, it started to rot out what was behind it. Now, thankfully, in the main area of the house that's not contained behind or around the chimney area, I was able to pull those boards off, and none of the rot had made its way into the sill board or the rim joist that was contained behind it. So thankfully, that was good. I reattached these new boards using all sorts of structural fasteners in place of that. And the reason I had done that was at the time I was planning to attach the deck to the house via joist hangers, because I also thought I was going to be able to attach the roof joists to, say, the rim joist between the floors of the house. However, due to the pitch of the roof, that's no longer necessary. No longer possible. So I have to, instead I was talking in the last little bit about maybe having to do 8 posts. I'm now at the point where I'm doing 17 posts. But what you're seeing now is I'm kind of walking towards the chimney. And what was shocking to me is when I took that non-pressure treated 1x10 off, that was the only thing separating the outside of my house from the inside of my house. So down here in the basement where I have my shop, if you were to have pulled those boards off, you could have just looked right inside. A thin, non-pressure treated board. It had started to rot the sill plate boards that are just, again, resting on the concrete, which is also not really a no-no. Those are also not pressure treated boards. They're basically holding up this entire chimney. So I had to, this is supposed to be like a quick job. I was going to pop these off and go about my day. And then instead I'm running out to buy pressure treated boards to replace all of this. And then I had to essentially cut out and jack up the walls that were inside there, shore them up, replace them all with the proper kinds of boards, seal everything up, block it all up to make it sturdy to be able to hold the load. And then I had to kind of go around the corner, as you're seeing here, and do the same. Thankfully, not as much rot here on the left-hand side. It was really just that right-hand corner that had the worst part. And then at some point, I'll have to remove the ledger that you can see I'm pointing at here. This will have to come off at some point in the future as well. But I just stopped basically where I was after I had to mess with these ledger boards. All right, so we're back outside with the deck here. There's been a handful of changes and some stuff has happened since the previous videos I recorded. And we've actually had a lot of rain here, so it's actually delayed a lot of the work that needs to be done. And there's also been a handful of different engineering situations where I would realize, oh, hey, I was going to do this, and it turns out that's actually not a viable option. So I've had to retool my designs a handful of times. But I'll spin it around and kind of show you where we're at the moment. So we now have, again, all of the old decking removed, temporary stairs in place. I've started. You can see stakes and string lines and stuff. I started going around putting those down. This old ledger I still have to just take the lag bolts out and remove that. But I've had to, again, adjust some of the design. But as mentioned, you can see all of the other decks have been removed. I started removing, there was basically like a flower, well, not even a flower bed, like a grass bed that had some bushes and stuff. So I tore those all out from here. There was another one over here, removed that. And I've been slowly just getting rid of all of the stuff. The problem is there's still quite a bit of dirt, and you can see that there's plastic and stuff there. So I have to get rid of all of this so that I can kind of try to level stuff out so I have an idea of what kind of ground I'm actually working with. So I have to get rid of all of that. And I've done a ton of wheelbarrows over into the woods to get rid of all this crap. And honestly, like I got this giant rock here, like right in the middle I have to get rid of. So I think I'm just going to rent an excavator and use that to just dig all of this out and dump it. And then while I'm at it, I can remove this bed. And unfortunately, similar to the issue I had with the bad ledger there, I can already tell that this 1x10 that's here is rotten there. It's rotten on the corner, and I want to get those out before they transfer the rot to the rim joist underneath it. So that's all done. And I'll pop into my garage and show you we have some of the materials arrived. So you can see I have 2 giant pallets full of bags of concrete, as well as there's a bunch inside here just of sonotubes. So I have 17 piles that I need to drill to set all of these sonotubes in and then fill them all up with concrete. So I have to rent an auger and probably a cement mixer, so I'm not mixing these things 1 bag at a time. So I'll just rent like a portable mixer where I think you can do 3 bags in it at a time. And then again, I'll see what I can do with the mini excavator while I have it here. And because it's a 2-foot diameter hole, so I might actually be able to just do that with the excavator. But it'll probably be easier to just do an auger, drill a 12-inch hole down, and then just kind of dig around the outside to kind of fill things in. So anyway, that's where we are. We'll probably start, like I said, once we start doing actual construction and maybe some of the digging stuff, because who doesn't love to watch heavy equipment work, we'll get some time-lapse stuff with that. So stay tuned for the next video.